the TPS reports. I'm Justin. That's Brandon. That's Pat. What's up, boys?
Well, it's good, both
What's
of
up,
you.
baby?
Yes.
How you doing?
Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. Merry Kwanzaa. All that jazz.
Happy Martin Luther King Day to
It
you.
is Martin Luther King holiday weekend, so we all get Monday off. That's great. So,
Thanks,
we
doctor.
we got a fun tournament to talk about here from December 30th, 2023. Last tournament of our first year as a business. We were at Rackham for a non-ball tournament. $500 added, like always. A full field of 32, which was awesome. All three of us played, which was maybe awesome. We'll get into how we did. Let me go ahead and thank our sponsors really quick, though, before we get into this tournament here. We had some good sponsors for this event. We had Red's Debris Removal and Hauling, Tim's Cues, John Patera at Remax Metro Realty, Inkwell Design, who makes our awesome trophy that somebody got to walk away with, the Pool Doctors, Portico Licensed General Contractors, Paul Harrison Custom Cues, and Alpha Installations, which is Rhett, who played in the tournament, finished 17th and 24th. And boys, Pat, what did you think about this tournament, man? Was it fun?
Yeah, it was definitely fun. We had I feel like every match that was played on the stream table, almost every match, most of them were like finals matches.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
we were all talking about that the other night.
We had 11 matches on the stream table, and I will say probably all 11 of those matches were superstars. We had no I guess bathroom break matches, so to speak, this tournament on the stream table. Brandon, what did you think about the tournament, man?
It's my favorite day of every month since I've been part of this. I mean, it was a great day. It was a great field, great environment. Ran well. Can't say enough about it. Obviously, not pleased with the result. However, loved everything about the day.
Perfect. I love to hear it. Both of you guys played last time we did the event at Rackham as well. So, I mean, Pat, were your expectations a little higher than the last time we were at Rackham?
No.
No?
I stopped. No, they weren't.
Way to be honest.
Yeah, they weren't. I was just like, all right, I don't know. Let me just try to play my best. I really wasn't trying. I was trying to tell myself not to worry about the results more than anything, and not put expectations on it. Really, just focus on playing as well as I could. But no, had an average bad day. So no.
I understand. You were probably too excited about the stream and how we had the new soundboard and added a second camera to throw a little bit of footage from the second table.
Yeah, man.
So we really upgraded here for this tournament, I feel like.
We did. I'm excited for what we're going to be doing in the upcoming year.
Absolutely. 2024 is going to be a fantastic year for the pool series. And let's do a little plug here really quick, though. Make sure to check out the pool series on Facebook, and also make sure to check out the pool series on YouTube, where you can find past matches and you can find here the TPS reports. Brandon, what was your expectations? I know you always have high hopes for yourself. But
My expectations were not met in where I finished, but my expectations were definitely met in how I played. Because those two are not supposed to go together ever, but it's one of those days where I had bad results, but played great.
I like it. That happens. Sometimes
It
if you
is.
play,
It's not exact. It's an unfair game.
yes, you can't, even if you play good, you can't always win.
No.
You had a really good match against Fox that I know we're going to talk about later.
I had an even better match with Jason Blackwell, probably
Yeah.
the best I played in a long, long time, and somebody had to lose, and it was me.
He was shooting crazy
How it
good that day
works.
too.
It was my first match was, I know we'll get more into that here shortly, but, overall, like I said, very pleased with how I played, but no, not pleased, and fell way below my expectations where I feel like I should finish.
Yeah, I'll say we'll get into how all three of us did here in a little bit, but I will say all six of our losses, sadly, none of us three won. So all six of our losses, those six players were in the money.
And how can you be mad at that?
I can live with that,
Exactly. And all three of us got to play on the stream table.
Yes, as it should be.
And I believe all three of us lost on the stream table.
As it should
Half
be.
glass full, baby. Half glass full.
Yeah. Y'all want to just go ahead and dive into our top eight here as we
Let's
say out
do
the top
this.
eight? Also, as we do, we always pay out 25% of the field, which is one thing that I think is awesome about the pool series. So 7th and 8th. First off, we had Jason Blackwell. First time he played in our event, first time he cashed. Pat, you probably didn't even know Jason, but what's your thoughts on his gameplay?
No, I kept asking like throughout the night, like, who is that guy over there? Because if I didn't see him playing, I heard him playing, and it was the sound of balls like hard in the pocket for real. There was a couple times I think he was on like table 2 and table 3 that I was just able to kind of catch some of his matches in between the TV table.
Yeah.
He's good. He's going to be somebody that won't be. No, he wasn't. Didn't he go pretty high in the Calcutta?
No, I think he went for like $60 maybe or something like that. $80 maybe.
That'll be that guy's minimum from now on.
Yeah, no, Jason's a great player. He's been around forever. I've known him for a super long time. A super nice guy, great player. He also brought his new fiance as they got engaged right before Christmas. Mallory, she came and played also, as we had 4 ladies in this event, which was awesome. But no, I was happy to see Jason play. I was happy to see him do well. Brandon, what do you think about Jason? What'd you?
Jason for years had many battles with him, man. I couldn't be happier for the guy. He's played great ever since I've known him. He's been in a lot of action matches. I've seen him go both sides on that.
Loves the game.
But no surprise that he's in the top 8. Jason's a really strong player.
Absolutely, and I think he could cash more often if he played more of our tournaments. Now let's though move to the next 7th, 8th place guy, which is the surprise of the cash. Yes. That would be the one and only Alan Profit.
Powerball.
Man. And I am so happy that he cashed, just because it proves that this format anybody can win. Races to 3, 2 out of 3 sets. Anybody can win. And he even beat the legend Eddie Little.
He eliminated. He didn't just beat him. He eliminated Eddie Little.
Yeah, eliminated him. I guess, Pat, you look like you're ready to talk about Alan. So let's just go ahead. What's your thoughts on Alan Profit, buddy?
I played against Alan a couple of times in our tournaments that we've had. Solid player. Oh, yeah. He's the same guy every time I've played him as well, which speaks to his consistency. But man, I am just as surprised as anybody else that he made it into the money, and very happy for him too. Dude, he was having a night. He beat a couple of people that night that was like, oh, buddy, how far is he going to be able to go? So it's really cool to see that he got into the money.
Yeah, he was having a lot of fun, man, and I love Alan, so I was super excited. I love that he's played almost in every one of our events, and I just love that he finally broke through and cashed in one of them. Brandon, I know you've played Alan probably 200 times.
At least.
So what's your thoughts on Alan cashing 7th, 8th in the pool series?
I absolutely love it, because I want people to realize that, no matter what level you play, you have a shot in these tourneys. Alan was an underdog in his first 2 matches, especially against Eddie.
Yeah, he did not knock Eddie out, by the way.
Slighter underdog against Roundy, Josh Bohannon, for those people who don't know him. But definitely a huge underdog to Eddie Little.
Yeah, let me correct Pat, though. Alan knocked Eddie. Yeah, and then Jason Blackwell is the one that eliminated him.
My apologies. Thank you.
Yeah.
But, no, I love seeing that. I love seeing him. I don't want to call him a middling player, but he's someone who's not typically expected to get into the money. But he played a great game. He stayed confident, and he made the shots when it was time. He's proof positive.
Yeah, I mean,
I love seeing it for him.
Alan works really hard on his game, just so to see him break through and cash in an open event is very impressive. I know handicap tournaments, he always seems to be there.
He's a titan.
Yeah, I mean, he's always seems to have a very good handicap in those tournaments, but to see him do it in an open event, he's also seemed super happy too. Like it looked like he was smiling for the last 6 hours. That he was
just a cool guy to be around. You're always going to have fun. He's not going to give you problems.
Absolutely.
You can always have a laugh with him.
Yes,
and happy for him.
If we go back to the very start of the day, I believe he was the first one there, other than me and Pat and Jessica who was working. So shows you that showing up early can pay off. Also,
Runal.
Runal. Yeah. Also, once again, Jason, super nice guy, 7th, 8th. Alan, super nice guy, 7th, 8th. I'm just going to say everybody in this top 8 is just super nice.
We love all of them.
So maybe being nice pays off.
That's right. Nice guys don't always finish last. They just finish 7th and 8th sometimes.
That's right. So we can move on to another nice guy who finished 5th, 6th. And I love to see this guy out there as well, Chris Clark. Chris has been around forever, and I never really seen him play in too many tournaments, but here he is playing in a couple of our Pool Series events here the last couple of months, and to see him finally break through in cash, which by the way you can check out his TikTok. He's been putting up some good little video on his TikTok. But Chris Clark with a 5th, 6th place finish. Brandon, what do you think about Chris?
I think Chris played. I watched a fair amount of his matches. I don't think he was on the stream table
No, he never.
that day, so I didn't catch all of his matches. However, I definitely peeked in on him as I noticed he kept shaking hands and moving forward. So he was, when he saw out, he got out. He played solid. He played smart. Didn't try to play too much hero pool, and that's what carried him to 5th, 6th. So I mean,
Absolutely. And Pat, what do you think about Chris? You've had a couple battles with him now, if I do believe.
Yeah, tired of losing to him. I'll tell you that.
Maybe, maybe you just can't beat any of the Clarks. Maybe that's what it is, Pat.
Oh no, it's coming, baby. Don't you worry. Now, Chris has always had a solid game. I think I played him the first time at Blue Rocks, not the most recent Blue Rocks, but the one before that one.
Our first trip to Blue Rocks, you played him.
Our very first trip to Blue Rocks. But yeah, each time I felt like I've had a chance, and then I think he tooled me both times. Maybe the first time we went to the hill, but he always has that extra little push towards the ends of the racks that shows his kind of tenure. So happy to see him so high up in the money, kind of that at that midway point. He deserves it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think some people said that he was a surprise to cash. I don't think he was. I think he would be on my list if I had to list like 12 players in this tournament to cash. He would have been among those 12. So I don't think it was a surprise that he cashed. And I don't really think that was a surprise to finish 5th, 6th. I think that's about, where he should be right now with this game.
I think there's a lot of people that need to remember sometimes there's players that should cash and don't, and there's players that shouldn't cash and they do.
Yeah.
That's what happens with this kind of format. Like, trust me, there's plenty of players outside of the money that you would expect to cash in 90% of the events. And there's always going to be one or two that you don't see coming.
Right. I'm looking at 3 people that should have been in the money right now.
Yeah, we'll talk about those here after
We will
count
definitely
down.
talk about those.
But yeah, one thing I like about Chris too is that the whole point of these tournaments when I kind of wanted to start them was to bring out players such as Chris and really such as you two guys that want to play in these open events. Because, Chris, like I said, never really, I've not seen him really play in a bigger tournament ever since I've known him. So I think people don't understand how good he actually is because he only plays at Smoke and Q League and the Smoke and Q Wednesday night tournament. So I think maybe people are going to start to realize that, hey, Chris Clark is actually a really good player.
I think one of the reasons you haven't seen players like at a lot of open tournaments like myself, Chris Clark, and Pat Dixon, a lot of them, is because now we actually have a format where we have a chance.
No, that helps too, for sure.
Like, I have faith in my game, but not in a race to 11 against 750 Fargos.
Right.
But in a race to 3, even though the odds are low, I still have a shot.
Right.
So do all of us.
For sure. I understand that. Well, let's go to our other 5th, 6th place finisher who none of us probably have a chance against if we play. And that would be our top lady, once again, Liz Taylor. And I'm just going to go ahead and just throw this to Pat because I think Pat is secretly in love with this woman. Let's hopefully Pat's wife is not listening at this moment. So,
bro, for real.
Pat, go ahead and talk about Miss Liz Taylor.
There's like a few main points that we always talked about in 2023 when it comes to mental toughness in these tournaments. So it's just that extra something that the better players have. Tournament toughness, the games evolve and grow as time goes on, and the cream rises to the top. And she possesses easily all of those 3 things.
Absolutely.
She won her first 3 matches, one against Shay 2-0, one against Art 2-1, and then Jimmy Broughton 2-0. So she was like, she's dominating coming out of the gates, and then runs into I think we're going to get into this later, but runs into a Joey Fox who was like, yo, never again. And then Runal, who was actually, I know we're going to talk about this later as well, but Runal was on a tear. He was on a tear at that time. I feel like Liz still had a chance to win both of those. She went to the hill with Runal, but it just speaks to her level of play and how she approaches tournaments, even to this day. So I'm such a fan, man. I could talk about Liz all day. We could do a whole episode on Liz.
I'll just love the fact that I know we had 3 other females in this tournament, but no offense to them, they're not on Liz's level. No. And I love the fact that we really don't have a woman in this area that's on Liz's level. So the fact that she comes and plays just gets me super excited. Honestly, I was rooting for her to win this tournament once I got knocked out. I was like, no, Liz, please win. I'm rooting for you. I want to give this trophy to a woman player. And I just love her, man. She is really awesome. And
really sweet.
She's just a great player. Brandon, what did you think about Liz's run here in the Rackham tournament?
She can really play.
Yeah.
She plays a smart game. She doesn't try to do the hero stuff, doesn't try to do extra things. She's got, golly, what a straight stroke.
Oh,
You just know the cue ball's going to end up where it's supposed to. And watching her ball pocketing skills is just about as good as anybody's. Like you two, I'm definitely a fan. Um, Sweet lady. Gosh, so polite to be around. Love everything. I hope she comes to every event. Couldn't
same.
be happier for her. And I'll go ahead and make a prediction. Let's say she does make it to every event. There's a trophy. You're going to get a top lady, the money, and the trophy.
Yeah, I definitely. It would not surprise me if she plays in 10 tournaments this year if she wins one of them.
Absolutely wouldn't know, not a bit. She's
I
great.
hope so. Just move to Charlotte already, Liz. Like, what are we doing? What are we talking
Yeah.
about?
Well, yeah. She seems to like to hear a lot. I mean, she messages me asking me when the next tournament is. So I definitely think she wants to come back and play once more. And her husband played once again, or I guess are they married?
Steve.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, Steve. Steve Kang.
Kang.
Steve Kang. He played again. Sadly, not a very good tournament for him this time. So let's
Keep
move on
playing,
to
Steve.
yeah. Thanks for playing, Steve. Let's move on to our top four, and I think this might have been my favorite top four being tournament we've had, just because I consider all four of these guys to be pretty good friends of mine. And fourth place, he only loses to one person twice. Once in the first round, then wins 6 matches in a row. And I just want to go ahead and call out the 6 people that he wins and probably name who this player is. He beats Ryan Daughtry. He beats Justin Clark, Jason Blackwell, and Liz Taylor. Those are just 4 of the matches that he won. That's an impressive run. And that fourth place finisher, Ronald Bott. Pat, what do you think about Ronald's run in this tournament? And really, honestly, I feel like he was just on a different level in this tournament than he has been when we've seen him the last couple of times.
We said that after we saw his the first match when he lost to David Anderson.
Yeah.
He was struggling a bit. They both were. I mean, that match was one of the longest ones. Opening it up, it was like an hour and a half long.
Yeah,
but then we
almost 2
started,
hours,
yeah, it was almost 2 hours. But then we started seeing him shoot on the other tables, and it was like, oh, okay, yeah, like he's playing very well. And that was he was able to kind of, no offense, Ralph, I love you, dog, but he was able to kind of warm up against Ralph and take him 2-0. Then he got Art down, and then he just started building that momentum up until he started playing those big dogs. This performance here is easily his best performance with the pool series for the entire year. Easily. We say it all the time. I feel like we say it like 90% of the time when he plays. I always feel like, oh, he's like tonight's his night. I really, I was almost close to saying that night was going to be his night until I played Clay. And I said, okay, never mind. We'll talk about that in a minute, but never mind. But this was definitely, he kind of showed that he's still here, that he's not giving up, that he's still, what's the word? Has the motivation to want to win in one of these tournaments.
Oh, for sure. And I thought it was his night as well. Even when he played David the second time, I was like, there's no way the same person beats him twice in one tournament. But boy, was I wrong.
The machine.
Yeah. So, Brandon, what do you think about Ronald Bott?
I have learned a difference of a few types of players. You have your players who lose their first match and they're so mad and angry they can't focus on their second match and they
Or-
get 2-0.
Or some that leave after losing their
Or
first match.
leave after their first match. There are those guys too. But then there's the guys like Ronald who, and you could visibly tell, I saw him right after the loss, he was fuming, man.
Oh, yeah.
And he uses it as focus because he decided to just run through the entire rest of the field except for splitting with you and splitting with Liz. He pretty much tortured and dominated who was in front of him all the way back to, well, let's just face it, they call him the machine for a reason.
Yeah.
He was a machine that day.
Yeah.
So, Ronald, kudos to you. Another great tournament. I'm going to sort of agree with it being your strongest run. I think the 9-ball at Blue Rocks, when you went to the hot seat match, was one of your better runs. But this one was more fun to watch because of how it started and how it finished. So kudos and hats off to Ronald. He had a great tourney.
I think I agree with Pat. I think this was his strongest run just because of the fact of who he beat. I think that tournament at Blue Rocks, I feel like the players that he beat in that tournament were not on the same level as the people that he beat in this tournament. like, yeah, he made it to the hot seat match in that tournament and then lost 2 in a row to finish third or second or however they ended up splitting. But this tournament, he beat, like I just named, he beat 4 guys or ladies or players. He beat 4 players that I think easily could be top 4 in this tournament.
Yep.
If you know, I'm including Ryan Daughtry in that. I think Ryan plays good enough to where he could be top 6 or top 4. So I just think this was definitely his best run. And on the flip side, you said how pissed off he was when he lost to David the first match. I think he gets pissed off when he loses to people that he doesn't think should beat him. But he doesn't quite realize David Anderson's a great player. Just because you don't see him play ever.
Yeah,
I mean, ever.
we know that what the machine can
Yeah,
do.
but Ronald, newer to the area, kind of like Pat, really, because the first time Pat saw David play, which we'll probably get to here in a minute, but Pat
Love
probably
that.
still doesn't understand how good David can play
Oh
either.
yeah,
I saw.
Yeah, you know now. So our third place finisher, though, a guy who's I'm just getting tired of talking about, honestly. Like, I don't really know what more to
Mr.
say.
Consistency.
Yeah, Mr. Joey Fox. Third place finish. This dude he's almost taken over the Charlotte area with all these high tournament finishes. Brandon, do you got anything to say about Joey's great finish in this tournament?
Yeah, thanks for the extra money. Appreciate you on that, Joey. Good Calcutta pick there. I wrote some simple notes. He's Mr. Consistency.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what you're going to get out of him. You know, number one, he's a 90%er for the money, period. He's a 50%er for the top 4.
Yeah.
And he seems like he'll actually play and this is a symbol of good tournament players, play their worst pool in the beginning and win, and then play their better pool as the day progresses.
For sure.
Could have easily been in the finals.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
He will tell you, and I'll kind of agree with him, he should have been in the finals, but third place is still a good finish.
I think deep down Joey knows that Clay and David are both better than him. I will go ahead and throw out this tidbit, though. 3 of the 4 people that Joey beat in this tournament did finish in the money. So that's a pretty strong run to third place as well. Pat, what's your thoughts on the great Joey Fox?
I like his hair. No, just kidding.
You like the man bun?
I like the man bun. It's a good look for him.
He'll call it a stud bun, but go ahead.
That's what gives him his swag.
Stud bun with a nice little side part right there. No, I mean, can you say that Clay and David Anderson are better players than Joey Fox? I'll let your experience make that decision. I'll say this. If your life depended on it, are you going to bet against the guy? I'm not.
When it comes to those two, yeah.
I like the definitive. Yeah,
I'll give you a 100 on David. I'll give you a 90% on.
Yeah.
Got you. Well, I say that to say, like, you know, it's just like, I don't, every tournament we're talking about how good Joey Fox is. You know what I mean? He's Mr. Consistent. He's the epitome of he gets better as time goes on. But is there someone that's going to be standing in his way that's just as hot as he is? You know, and he found 2 people that were.
Yeah, I'm just going to start. Anytime that we run a tournament from now on, if Joey Fox signs up, I'm just going to go ahead and pencil him in for one of these spots and just go ahead and prepare to hand him an envelope at the end of the night. Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and let's get to the final 2. And boy, this was my favorite finals just because 2 of my best friends. Second place, a dude that had a flashback to 2016. That's what I wrote down because I have not seen him play this good in probably 7 years. Mr. David Anderson, the machine. And, man, let me just name off. He won 6 matches. He loses the only person he lost to was the winner of the tournament. But the 6 matches he won, he beat Ronald Bott. Okay, great win. Then he beat Matt Hogue. Okay, supposed to win that one. Beat Bruce Campbell. Good player.
Great win.
Beat Chris Clark and the money. Beat Ronald Bott again. And then beats Joey Fox. David, what a run, boy. And this is the David Anderson I expect to see, honestly. And it's really funny because I felt like he still didn't even play his best game.
I was just going to say.
Yeah, Pat. This is really the first time you've seen David play. I know you've seen him play a couple of times, but I think this is the first time you got a glimpse of what he can do. So just tell me what your thoughts are on the machine.
I got to see, this might not be the most updated version, right? We might need another firmware software upgrade on this machine, but this is as close to like the legend, so to speak, that I've heard about. Dude was on a tear. And it's like the only time he missed was if he was scratching. You know, anything else outside of that, he rarely got a bad roll. And if he did, he was able to recover so well. His jump shots that he was making throughout the day, jump defenses, jump combos, he was out of his mind. Yeah, I was really excited to kind of see how do I want to say, the level that he could actually play at. You know, when he's in his high gear. When he's in his high gear, he's close to like a mid 650, 700 Fargo playing guy.
I think,
Oh,
yeah. I mean, go back to what I said.
Is there more?
Well,
yeah.
I'm just gonna remind y'all what I said on our tournament at the other Rackham, I believe. Or no, I think it was at the tournament at Blue Rocks when he cashed and finished fourth. I told y'all if he played every day and if he practiced as much as the other 7 people in the money, that he would easily be the best player in Charlotte. And I feel like y'all got a little bit of a glimpse of that because he just played the week before at Masters, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So he played twice this month. He was in stroke. He was in stroke for this tournament. And yeah, I think you said 650 Fargo. That's way too low for him when he posted the bet.
Yes. If I may cut in, Justin,
Yeah.
can't sit
No, go
on
ahead.
any longer.
Yeah.
Pat, if he practiced as much as you and I do, he'd be a 730 Fargo.
Golly.
I'm not exaggerating. I'm not trying to make this podcast sound better than it really is. David, you meet people in life that are just more talented at certain things than other people's. God gave them more gifts. This is one of them. He would be the best player in Charlotte if he practiced 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Dedicated, what do you want to say, 10 hours total?
Yeah.
God forbid he ever decided to do more than that. The guy's called the machine for a reason. Pool is a leisure hobby for him now. If he really bared down, there is nothing any of us could do about it.
No.
Wow.
And it's funny too because as much as we're talking about him, it popped up on my Facebook memories page or whatever it's called. You know, what I'm talking about? I don't even know how many years ago it was, but it was. I went live with final 16 winners bracket match at the Music City Open. David was playing somebody. So that tells you right there he made the final 16 of the winner's side at a pro tournament.
Yes.
I believe he finished 7th, 8th that year, I believe.
Wow.
I don't remember what year it was. I think it was 2016 or 2017. So
It's not fair.
Do you think he's moving that way? I feel like we're seeing him more and more consistently at the tournaments throughout the year. It's feeling less sporadic. Do you feel like this is something that he's actually going to try to ingrain in his daily life, like actually playing more pool?
I think he might, because he's friends with me and Clay, who run the tournament. I think he's going to try to come out and play a lot more in these events. So I think eventually you will see him play a tournament where he plays absolutely flawless and runs through it like Hunter ran through the one pocket tournament.
Okay.
Pat,
Then
if he really did,
I got to see it. I have to see it.
Yeah.
Pat, honest to God, if he really dedicated himself to practice and really was diligent and made it a focus in his life, other than having a career, having a wife, and whatever it is they do outside the pool, he the best player in Charlotte. Top 2 or 3 in North Carolina.
Yeah. I would say the game that he just played in the tournament might have been B+.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
We
crazy
know
to
David.
think about.
He knows him a lot better than I do. I've known
Yeah.
David Anderson a solid 10 plus years.
Yeah.
Played him numerous times, watched him play. Yeah, he's ferocious.
Wow, that's crazy to think
really
about.
dedicates himself.
All right, so that's enough of us salivating over the machine. Let's get to the
Guy
first.
can play.
Let's get to the first place winner who finally got there. Finally, I believe this is the first trophy he's ever got for winning a pool tournament, which I wish trophies were more of a thing. But our boy, the man, the myth, the legend, our hero, Clayton Davis.
Who?
Our hero, Clayton Davis.
Oh,
Davis, first place.
him. Okay.
Congrats on the win. Played pretty flawless, really, honestly. And yeah, it was. I was really happy to see him finally snatch through after a couple of second place finishes. Pat, what do you think about Clay's win?
Yeah, it was his night. It was his night, 100%. I mean, it's not like, I don't remember a moment where he ever looked out of stroke.
Yeah.
At any point. I was on the receiving end of an ass whooping from him that night as well.
He beat me also, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, he did. He beat.
Yeah.
Let's go through his wins there. Jason Blackwell 2-0, me 2-0, supposed to win that one. Justin Clark 2-0. When you give him a lot of trouble, I feel like y'all kind of go back and forth a little bit.
Yeah, that's the toughest match for me to play. It has nothing to do with his ability.
What does it have to do with?
It's more mental. Sometimes it's hard to play. It's hard to play like your brother.
Gotcha. Must be the beards. David Anderson beat him 2-1, Joey Fox 2-0, and then beating David Anderson twice, man. So, and I think we even talked about it in the last podcast. It was like it's gonna be his day. Like his day is coming, and it's coming very, very soon. And he finally was able to break through. I don't know if he could have played any better than what he did. It was almost a perfect performance for him.
Absolutely, I felt like he played almost every match as perfect as he could. Brandon, what do you think about Clay's awesome victory?
The best player in the tournament won. I mean, I can't really get more clear and honest about it. Not only did the best player win, he also showed every single match why he won. I mean, even with his mistakes, he turned right around and spun them right into gold. He was the only guy that could have beat Machine that day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be the first one to say it. And like we talked about in the last podcast, some guys are just due. Sometimes they want that trophy. It was Clay Davis. I mean, he went clean through. He didn't lose a match the whole day. Just great win. I couldn't be happier for the guy. I acted like I didn't know him, but I love him.
You said last pod. I'm sorry, Jesse. You said last podcast too that you felt he was like the best tournament player in Charlotte, or like the most consistent tournament player in Charlotte.
I said that.
Yeah, Brandon
Right?
said that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And he just kind of feel like I feel like this one he proved that, you know.
Yeah.
Not only by Fargo rating, but just by eyeball test. I mean, there were 32 players in there. To me, he was ranked number one. And like you always say, Pat, cream rose to the top, and it did.
Yeah, if you go by Fargo, I mean, he was the highest Fargo player.
What's his Fargo?
680, 681.
680 something.
Yeah, it's really high.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's getting up there. Has the winner of the hot seat, did they win every one of our tournaments in the finals?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
The ones
Yeah.
that actually played the finals, yes.
Yeah. I just throwing that out there.
That's an interesting stat.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that was our top 8. First place, Clay, all the way down. Clay Davis, David Anderson, Joey Fox, Renald Bott, Liz Taylor, Chris Clark, Alan Profit, Jason Blackwell. Congratulations, guys and gal. It was fun to watch y'all play. I had 2 people that I was surprised that didn't cash, by the way. Y'all want me to throw them out?
Yes, I can't wait to hear it.
All right, here's the 2 people I thought would cash that did. Pat Dixon and Brandon Mullis.
I knew it.
Nice,
I
nice.
knew it.
Who's Eddie Little?
No, I'm going to throw Eddie Little and Bruce Campbell,
Yes.
I thought Bruce had been playing really good, and obviously Eddie seems like he's in the money every one of our events. So I was kind of surprised neither one of them were there. Pat, what do you think, man? You agree that both those guys could have been up there? And did you have anybody else that you thought would cash that didn't?
I agree with the legend. I don't know who Bruce Campbell is.
Okay.
So
He's a good player.
Stud.
yeah, I'll take your word for it.
So I just mentioned the Music City with David. Bruce is playing the Music City Open this week. I don't know how he did, but he was there. So yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, and then I mean he's up there at 9/12 right now, right? So no disrespect, Bruce. I just literally I have no knowledge of him, but Eddie Little for sure. You, Justin, I thought you would have been in the money. And then I thought that honorable mention probably Rico.
Okay.
If Rico's shooting very well, I'd expect 7th, 8th at least, 6 somewhere right in there.
He cashed last time we were at Rackham.
There you go.
Yeah, so definitely a good pick. Brandon, what about you, buddy?
Who am I surprised as far as who cash?
Who didn't cash? Yeah.
Who pretty much said it. Eddie for sure.
Yeah.
Bruce Campbell for sure. Pat, he's really good.
Yeah.
Got to pay more attention to him when you get the chance.
For sure.
He's really solid player. Rico, this might sound arrogant. Some people might disagree. Myself.
I'll mention you.
Myself. It's coming, kid. Eventually. I had a gauntlet bracket, but hey, it happens to every player in every tournament.
Absolutely.
But at the end of the day, like we've already talked about, I was actually very pleased with my play.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, to answer your question, the 2 is Eddie and Bruce.
Yeah.
Pretty much agree with y'all.
Agreed. And I think, let's go ahead and switch over to how the three of us did and talk about our tournament run or lack thereof. Our tournament. I will start with Pat. I just, I go from the bottom up. So Pat,
That wasn't very nice.
I'm just taking notes, guy. All right.
All right.
You wait.
Pat Dixon, 17th to 24th. I'm going to read out your three matches really quick, and then you can tell me about them. You won 2-1 over Dustin Stein.
Mhm.
You lost 2-0 to Clay Davis. Then you lost 2-0 to Chris Clark. Tough draw, really, honestly, man. But Pat, what your thoughts are? Like, what was your hardest match? What did you think you played well in all three?
I think I played well against Clay. I played my best against Dustin.
Yeah.
And I didn't play well against Chris, who did also play well. So starting off with Dustin, that was a battle because I started off cold, and then I had to fight back to take it to the hill, and then I had to fight back once we were in that hill set to actually win. I think he probably got up on me like 2-0, or it was like 1-1 and then 2-1, and then he got on the hill, and I feel like I ran him out. I can't remember
Exciting
exactly.
match. Did you put that match on your Facebook?
No, because I started to record or stream it, and Facebook shut it down like instantly. And my phone, I went back and checked my phone. It streamed for like 4 minutes. So,
All right.
but it was a really, really good match. Enjoyed playing him. Clay was a lesson.
Yeah, we can talk more about. We'll talk more about that later since y'all were on the stream table.
Okay, I'll leave that one alone.
Yeah,
But then playing against Chris Clark, I just didn't play well. Plain and simple, didn't play well. Made some mistakes, and he was playing very, very well that day and was punishing for sure. So
understandable. Brandon, what do you think about Pat's run in the tournament, man?
I don't really know Dustin Stein. I've seen him play a couple of times. He looks like he's pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
So, Pat, I actually think that's a pretty good win. The match with Clay, self-explanatory. And Chris Clark.
Yeah, Chris Clark. Yeah.
What was the score with Chris Clark?
It was 2 sets of 0. I know that.
Okay.
What was the score of each set? Do you remember, Pat?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
have
that's
no
a
idea.
bracket.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, both guys you lost to finished in the money.
Yeah.
One of them's the winner of the tournament. So.
Yeah. It was one of those things. With Chris, I had chances. That I do remember. I had chances against Chris to be able to close out some sets and at least take it to the hill. But I was just making too many mistakes and missing some shots, and he wasn't. He was doing a good job of punishing my mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say I think you losing 2-0 to Chris is a little surprise. I feel like maybe you're supposed to get a set. The Clay match is, whatever. And Dustin, I feel like you were probably supposed to win that match. So I think, really, honestly, I think with that draw, you probably did exactly what you were supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Just sometimes you just get a bad draw, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to think to yourself, losing to Clay, you go to loser side, you're probably going to get, a match that you're supposed to win or maybe a toss-up match, and instead you play Chris, who I feel like,
Right.
is probably a little favored over you. Like I said, it would surprise me if we went to a third set, but
Right.
I just feel like he's probably a little favored in that matchup.
I can agree with that.
Yeah. All right. Then.
And after practicing with him the last couple of weeks, his ball pocketing's getting better, everything about your game, and just keep doing the thing, brother.
Oh yeah, of course. I appreciate it.
We know you'll get there eventually, Pat, for sure. I mean, I'm rooting for you. Number one fan over here. Let's move on to Brandon Mullis. Also 17th to 24th. You guys like each other. Brandon, here's your 2 matches, man, or 3 matches, sorry.
Yes.
You won 2-0 over Steve Kong.
Yes.
Then you lost 2-0 to Joey Fox, which is on the stream table.
Worst match of the day, but it was still a pretty good match.
Yeah, then you lose 2-1 to Jason Blackwell. So also both losses to 2 guys in the money. Brandon, what's up with your run, man? What's up with your tournament?
The match with Steve King was great. It was 3-1, 3-1. I
Ooh,
played
nice.
well.
Good
I
job.
stalled out. I got out. I controlled the cue ball well.
That's a good
Only
one.
made 1 or 2 mistakes the whole match, which gave him 2 games. I couldn't say enough about that.
Yeah.
Run into Joey. Honest to goodness, it was 1 or 2 mistakes that shifted the whole match his way. It was a 3-1, 3-2. I ran the whole rack when I was down 2-1 and made the 9 and just put a little extra gas on the cue ball, and it slingshot off the rail and scratched in the far corner. It was horrible luck. I
Table
know
one.
I should have played it different, but things happen and it's an unpredictable game. And then Joey gave me another shot in the second set. I broke dry in the hill game, and He runs out. That's
Oh, yeah,
why he's Mr. Consistent.
Can't draw a break.
And then the best match that I played all day was with Jason Blackwell. You know, I'll lose 3-2, or I'm going to say this in Jason's favor, 3-2, 0-3, 3-2. So Hill in the third set. I got the second set 3-0. And I played a two-way shot with a 3-9 combo. Almost made it. Left the cue ball and the 3 ball, length of the table apart. Jason hits an absolute champion winner shot, lands perfect on the 4 and finishes the match. And there were multiple breaking runs in the match from both players. It was
wow.
a great, well-played match that somebody had to lose. And he sure made me feel a lot better after he also had a hard run to get his money.
Yeah, he knocked Eddie a little off to get the cash.
And Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
So I mean, Jason made his money that day for sure.
Jason is very underrated.
Yes, 17th through 24th. I'm certainly not going to brag about it, but my level of play when I did have my opportunities, I'll take that play with me to any tournament, and most tournaments I'll get different results.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you can play your best and still have only a short tournament like that. Pat, what do you think about Brandon's tournament performance?
Brandon, you should start recording your matches, man. Whether you stream it on Facebook to use that as like a digital thumb drive, or if you just flat out record it on your phone and upload it later. I love watching you play.
Thank you.
I love watching you play, man. Just your cue ball control, the speed at which you play, the style at which you play. I wanted to have seen the match against you and Blackwell that went to the Hill. I would have wanted to have watched that after the fact. You know, something to consider. You're one of my favorite players to watch, no lie. But yeah, I feel like you and I, like it was the tale of the same, kind of the same thing for two different people. We both got really tough draws.
Yes.
I think we both won the match that we were supposed to win, and then the next one up, it was like, all right, here come the big dogs, right? Give us a little kicking around.
I'll admit Joey's definitely a little bit of a better player than me, but it's still a match I can't win.
Right.
And I will say that more with Jason Blackwell. I mean, I still feel like he might be a little bit stronger as far goes a little higher than mine. But, I mean, that match was – I actually won more games and lost the match.
Which is another thing that I love about this sport.
That's what makes it great, though.
Yeah. No, I think Brandon, you had the same problem that Pat had, and y'all just kind of tough draw, man. I mean, you lost to two people the money. I think, like you said, I think you won the match you were supposed to win.
Mm-hmm.
Going 0-2 against Joey, okay, maybe. I mean, I feel like maybe you're probably supposed to get a set.
I feel like.
And I literally, no offense to you, but I think you and Jason is a literal toss-up.
Yeah.
Which obviously goes Hill third set, so it was an actual toss-up.
Yeah.
So if you had told me you would have won, I would be like, cool. If you told me you lost, which you did, I would be like, okay, cool. Like, I don't know who I would pick in the middle of that match, honestly.
I take it, Brandon.
Yeah, I agree with Pat, though.
I owe him. I owe both of them. It's going to happen.
I agree with Pat, though. It would have been a fun match to watch for sure. So, good tournament, guys. I mean, just bad luck. I know y'all will both do better next time. And honestly, with the 32-player field, sometimes you're going to get bad draws like that.
Yeah.
Which is another reason why I like the short fields that we have, not just because it gets done in one day in decent time, but because it also kind of, good players don't have to make the money and lesser players can. And good players can get knocked out early. So I love it.
You know what's funny is at the tournament at Blue Rocks, I finished 9 through 12.
Yeah, you played worse than this?
Oh, I played way worse. It wasn't even comparison. Not even close. And in this one, 17 and 24, and I would have absolutely taken this game over the game in Blue Rocks.
For sure, yeah.
I mean, no question.
So I think, I guess, should we mention my tournament really quick, I guess?
Please.
All right, if we have to.
I've actually been waiting on.
Oh, this is what you've been waiting. Okay.
Yes.
So Justin Clark, he finished 9 through 12. 2-0 win against William Wood. 2-0 win against Javier. Pat, I need your help on his last name. Javier.
Olu. First time I've ever seen it. Olu. We'll go with Olu.
Okay. And then I'll lose 0-2 to Clay Davis and 1-2 to Ronald Bott. I don't know. Do y'all want to talk about my tournament first? And I'll challenge there again?
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead, man. Talk about my tournament.
Sucks to suck, guy.
Yeah,
all right. Get good.
Big time.
That's good. Your first two matches you're supposed to win.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
10 times out of 10. And you tell me how those went, because I'm looking at the scoreboard and I see 2-0, but a lot of times 2-0 isn't necessarily
All right.
reflective of the
I'll
quality of
tell
the
you.
match like Brandon's against Joey's.
All right. I'll go ahead and tell you against William Wood. Everybody calls him Woody. I beat him 3-1, 3-0. The only game he won, I missed the non-ball. And I really don't think he made more than 5 balls because he never could make a ball on the break. And I don't think he ever really had a shot. That's
Yeah.
probably one of the best matches I've played, probably in a very long time, actually. And then against Javier, I won 3-0 and then Hill. Again, I played really good. Both games he won, he broke and ran. And then the first set, he just broke once, and I ran out.
Yeah.
I played pretty almost as perfect as I could those first 2 matches.
So consider that you're playing almost as perfect as you can. In order to
Yeah.
beat these next 2 guys, Ronald Bott and Clay Davis, you would have had to have found another gear, right?
Oh, yeah.
And what's the shame in losing to what, number 1 and number 4?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
That's what makes this tournament so great.
Yeah.
absolutely.
But Justin, you're always one of my favorite players, man.
Yeah, I mean, it was
That's one
definitely a
of my
fun tournament. Clay and Renal are my friends, so it was fun to play them. Especially getting to play Renal on the stream table was fun. Hopefully, people enjoyed watching that. Brandon, what do you think about my tournament run, man?
It went chalk.
Yeah,
I think you and Renal play closer than people probably realize. I still think that's actually more of a coin flip. Some would say he might be this much ahead of you. I've also seen what you can do, so I don't know that's always the case. The match with Clay, like I said earlier, he's the best player in the tournament. I don't want to. I'm not going to say it was a surprise. I'm just not shocked. So, but I mean, you always seem to have some strong consistency when you're in the tournaments. So, with all that being said, I know you finished one out of the money. However, I can also name a number of people in the money I would take you over too. So
Yeah.
sometimes that's just how a bracket goes.
yeah, yeah. I think playing Clay, like I said, is just it's tough for one of those. Neither one of us ever really play our like. Even I think that might have been Clay's worst match. Also, honestly, I watched it, and then yeah, me and Renal, it probably is a toss up.
It's closer
I
than
mean,
people think.
Yeah.
I know we literally go back and forth. He beat me in that tournament, and then I played him like a week later at the Smoking Cube tournament, the weekly tournament, and I beat him. So we literally, it's back and forth between us. I think a lot of people would probably pick him over me just because he's out and about more, maybe so to speak now. But I used to be out and about a lot.
Mhm.
So yeah, no, there's no no big surprise I lose to both of them. But if I had won one of those matches, I wouldn't have been surprised either.
Not in the least.
Right. Right. You're one of
Yeah.
those players. You're one of those players. Like when I talk about Joey Fox, like somebody that it doesn't really matter who they play. I'm not going to bet against them. You're one of
Yeah.
those people. I would say too. It's really hard to put somebody up against you, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not taking Justin. I'm taking that guy.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I mean, if you were to ask me who the 3 best players were in the tournament, my ego would say it's Clay, Renal, and Justin. So
I thought you were going to say your own self 3 times.
no. I would never count out those 2 guys for sure. And then
Okay.
Renal did just travel with me to a tournament, so it did pretty well. So yeah, good for him, man. And I'm still waiting for. I wish that he would have went on to win the tournament, so I could say hey, I lost to the winner. But I did lose the winner. It just happened to be Clay and not Renal. So there's that. But it was a fun tournament. I think we all 3 had fun. We all got stuff that we can work on for the next tournament. So let's switch over and talk about some of these stream matches really quick, huh?
Let's do it.
All right. So first round, David Anderson, Ronald Bott. David wins 2-1. Pat, you commentated most of this match. What's your thoughts on the longest match of the day? Ronald losing to David.
They just kept doing this. They just kept going back and forth with mistakes and momentum swings. David Anderson came out hot, gave Runal chances to come back and kind of tie it up. So they went to the hill in that first set, and then the exact same thing happened again in the second set, but it swung Runal's way. And then that last set, the last set, it went to the hill again. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So we always talk, or at least I always talk about every match. The better players, you'll see their worst games in the beginning, and then it'll grow as time goes on. That's what happened exactly with both of these two. They were both playing the worst games of the night against each other, and I think that might have added a little bit of pressure as well. Right, the fact that Runal was playing David, the fact that David was playing Runal, maybe that was something that was in the back of both of their minds. Like, okay, I got to hurry up and do something now and get this guy off the table. Right.
Yeah, it's crazy because we've done 2 tournaments at Rackham now. Both times Ronald has been the first one on the stream. Last time he played Hunter White first. So it's kind of crazy that Ronald keeps drawing champions first when we play Rackham.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. But again, a great day by both of those guys. It was it's kind of nice that it happened that way because they kind of split up and then like came back around towards the end of the night. But yeah, make it shorter next time, y'all. What are y'all doing?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I would love to see them both play their best. But Brandon, what did you think about the matchup, man?
That's a match that could have easily been the hot seat match, but they happened to meet each other first round.
Mm-hmm.
My thoughts on that match were it was a lot like Rocky and Apollo in the 15th round in Rocky 2,
Oh yeah.
where they both have to get up. And Rocky ends up getting up, and Apollo just fell. That's what that reminded me of. Because I honestly did no clue who was going to win, so that final ball was pocketed. That is how close that match was.
Man, I think that's a great reference because also before that match, I could see David's wife calling him on the phone and be like, David, I want you to do something for me. What's that? What's that? Win. And then the bell ring, like, just sorry, we're just gonna go all out.
As soon as you say Rocky, he's like, yes.
That's right. Let's do it.
He's an American hero, man. I mean, they made a statue of him. I mean, come on.
I'm not getting into this with you right now.
No, this match was the match I've been waiting to see, and to see it first round was awesome. To see them not playing their best kind of sucked, but to me, Ronald losing was kind of a surprise just for the simple fact that I just felt like Ronald just wouldn't lose first round with David playing like he did.
Mm-hmm.
And David to play like he did, the third set, David wins Hill. Ronald made 2 balls.
Mhm.
David missed 2 non-balls. And those were the only 2 balls that Ronald made the third set. It was quite possibly insane to think about. And I wasn't sure how David would respond to that. Yeah, he won. But does he just slide down and just lose his next 2 matches? Or does he rise up and make a run? And he figured out what he was doing wrong and rose up and obviously made a great run. So I think that's a great way to start our tournament right there. We did not start with no 1 versus 16 seed. We started with 2 number 1 seeds just right off the bat.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we go to the second round and we get
all goes downhill.
Yeah, we get both of you guys. So Brandon, you play Joey Fox and lose 2-0.
Yes.
And Pat, you play Clay and lose 2-0. You guys lost to both the guys that played for the hot seat. I'm just sorry about y'all's luck, man. But was it fun to play on the stream, Pat?
It's always fun to play on the stream.
Yeah.
I want all my matches on the stream table. If the stream table is ever available, put me on it. Okay.
All right.
If it's not available, put me on it. I don't care. I actually like it because I feel like that gives me an extra little bit of oomph. You know what I mean? I could try a little bit harder because I know people are watching.
Have you went back and rewatched your match? Did you find out anything that you did wrong and could have done different?
Yeah. I overshoot a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. So my cue ball control, my speed, less is more, especially on this table. Towards the foot of the table, you have to shoot a little bit harder because the ball's going to slow down towards the top of the table where we break from. That's where the slope is, so that sucker's going to run. So not being cognizant of that as I'm playing, and balls all over the place. But it's not the table, it was me.
Yeah, I definitely think you're getting good enough now to where you don't need to focus on making the ball as much. You need to focus more on where the cue ball is going to go.
Right.
Don't worry about making the ball. Brandon, what's your thoughts on those 2 matchups, man?
Talk about with myself and Joey.
Yeah, and then also just if you want to talk about Pat and Clay.
So with myself and Joey, if I could go back and have a particular 5 ball that looked like an absolute, come on man moment.
Yo,
on ESPN.
I've been waiting 53 minutes to ask you about that. We saw the same thing at the same time, bro. Like it was obviously a foul.
That's not what I'm talking about. But I will get into that.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm talking about in rack 3 of the first set, which really could have swung this a whole different way. Instead of playing a safety, I go for some kind of ridiculous hero.
You're supposed to go for it. I feel.
You really think so?
100%.
It was a long distance. It was a difficult shot. And not only did I jack it up, I made the 5 ball about 4 rails and put the cue ball in about 3 rails. And he just tic-tac-toed out from the 6 ball. Easy 2-1. And then the very next game, where I run the entire rack and I just catch something on that. I just catch a nervous energy or something when pocketing the 9, and then I scratched.
Yes.
But also to the point that Pat's going to be making, Pat, I'm just going to have to live with that. And in the next circumstance, I'm going to be different about it. But yes, you and I both agree that there was a foul there that I didn't call. I should have called, but I just grinned and bared it and played the match.
Good for you. I would have said something. Good for you though.
Well, it probably helped a little bit that you had Joey in the Calcutta, correct?
It helped a lot to have Joey in the Calcutta. Who am I kidding here? There's, like I said, of course I don't want to lose to anyone, whether it's a low ranked player or Shane Van Boning. I take it the same.
Right.
So I mean, I will never not feel the same way. But it was a little easier to swallow knowing that your horse got a major break in his bracket to send you to the money. So I could roll with that. But and when we get into Pat's match with Clay, I love what he said though. This is so true. Lesson learned.
Mhm.
Lesson learned. Like when I played Mike Davis a number of years ago, Brandon Schuff and different all around, just BJ Ussery, different all around studs, and I sit there and just watch what they do. Shannon Fitz, nobody's ever given me a beating like Shannon Fitz has numerous times. I sit there and just watch and learn and figure out what it takes to play great pool. That's a good thing. It really is.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, you hate the result as much as the next guy hates
Oh, yeah.
losing. But, you know, when you just sit there and watch the best player in the tournament do his work, you get something out of it.
Absolutely.
If
There
you're
was
a logical player, you get something out of it.
right. And there was even a moment where I had a defense where I knew the only way that I could play, well, let me say it like this. The only way that I knew that I was going to be able to actually hide him, I was going to have to give him space. I wasn't going to be able to like marry the cue ball up to, I believe it might have been like the 6. And I was like, I know I have to give him this jump shot. It's probably not the best idea to do, but it had a little bit of distance on it, right? It wasn't full table. It was probably like 3/4. He walked up and nailed it like it was a 2-foot putt.
Yeah.
You know, so to
And
your
you can
point, it's
see-
always nice. It's like nice to see that front row, best seat in the house, what the better players, how they play.
Yeah, and you can see a lot of Clay's jump shots on our the pool series YouTube page. We have a lot of those up there. And also, yeah, Pat, if you can look up Shannon Fitch, because low key might have been the best player around here for years. Nobody
Okay.
ever really mentions him anymore, but low key was on the same level as BJ.
Pat, I'm down 27-0 against him. 9080, 909080.
Was this like a Masters competition or a Masters ranking? that
It
you're
was
looking at?
I just ran into him at the Smoking Q tournaments and
Oh,
a little older now, but
Yeah.
yeah, Shannon Fitch is an absolute warrior.
Still winning tournaments down in
Yeah.
Florida. Well, let's move on to the third round matchup. We get to see Joey Fox again, this time beating Alan Profit 2-0 after Alan beats Eddie Little. Brandon, what's your thoughts on Joey's win against Alan? I feel like Joey's supposed to win that 2-0, although Alan did beat him at Blue Rocks that one time.
Yes,
So,
he did.
what's your thoughts on this matchup?
What happened was supposed to
Yeah.
happen.
Okay.
I mean, and one thing I know about after, and Pat found this out too, and he has before, a lot of people have, after a really big unexpected win, usually comes a
loss.
lesson.
Yeah. You come back down to reality.
That's why 15 and 16 seeds don't go to the Final Four.
No,
Right.
I mean, it's just they might have that, remarkable win that's going to give them
Well,
confidence.
St. Peter's made it to the Elite Eight.
They did.
Yeah.
Yeah, destroyed. Nice plug there.
Good blue black. Blue.
That can happen a lot. The emotion wears down, and plus, Joey in that situation smelled blood. He knew all you had to do is play his game,
Oh, yeah.
and he came out on top.
Yeah, for sure. Pat, what did you think about Joey beating Allen 2-0?
Yeah, same thing. Shout out to Alan for actually taking a rack, man. You got one rack in there in set one. That's something to be proud of, for real.
Yeah.
He's not supposed to win that match.
No, and I think
That's
especially
what's
like Brandon said, after beating Eddie Little, he's definitely even less likely to beat Joey Fox just
Yeah.
because we're to pull off 2 big upsets in a row. Let's move on to our next stream match. We went over to the loser side, a 9th through 12th place match. Ronald Bott beats Justin Clark 2-1. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and skip over that. No, I'm just kidding. Pat, what did you think about? I think maybe you were commentating this match. I don't remember exactly, but What do you
I
think about
was.
Ronald beating me 2-1?
I was surprised. I was surprised because of how the match started. You came out firing, absolutely firing, and got up on him quick 3-1. And I was like, oh, this is the JC I'm trying to see right here. This is the one. But then I don't remember. I don't take notes, but I need to start. I don't remember exactly what happened in the middle of y'all's match, but he just caught a gear. I don't know if it was like you gave him ball in hand or something like that, but then he just gave it right back to you and then took you to a third set. And then that's all she wrote. What do you
Yeah.
think it was, man? What do you think was like the momentum swing? Because you come out firing in set one and then set two. What
Uh,
happens?
I think the first set I had things figured out. The second set he had things figured out. I think the third set he hooks me on a 6 ball, and that was pretty much the match. I didn't kick and hit it. I missed it. I think I tried to get too fancy on it. But I knew going into it, I said, hey, I got to kick this ball and get safe. I can't just kick and hit it, which caused me to miss it, and that I think put him up 2-0 in the third set, I believe, and that was that was pretty much the match. I think like I said, me and him both go back and forth. I think me and him both played a good match. Actually, I feel like I think I only made one mistake against him. I think he only made one mistake against me. It was just I literally think if you go back to it, he played great, and that roll on the 6 ball, he missed the 6 ball and hooked me, and I think that was the match, really, honestly.
Yeah.
And that's nothing. I'm not taking anything away from Ronaldo. He plays great. Just sometimes that's what it takes is a roll like that. I mean, you know, yeah. I mean, Brandon, what do you think about our match?
That was a great match to watch. I sat there ringside right in front of the table too.
Yeah.
Rico and Pat to my right, catching it out of the left side. No, you both. Yeah, you. All right. After the first set, I'm like, Justin's about to walk the dog on this man.
Yeah.
Like the real Slim Shady standing up now, and you put a hurting on him. But then once again, that upset and angry Renault rears his ugly head, and he comes firing back. And you did have a couple of rolls. We were a little bit surprised that on that kick safe, you were kicking to try to get the ball safe instead of going for the good hit. But I also love what you did there, because Brian Henson and I were sitting there talking that you can't just leave a good hit,
No.
or you can't just get a good hit, because he's either going to safety you right back or he's going to pocket it. And I still love what you did there, but unfortunately, it proved to be fatal.
Yeah, I would play the same way every time.
Sure.
Especially against a player his caliber. Maybe I don't try as hard if I'm playing a lesser player, but knowing him, if I give him an open shot there, it's over. So might as well go for the gusto, so to speak. So definitely, that's go out guns blazing, man. That's what I always say. Let's move on though. Next, we got the Final Four winner side. We got both matchups from the Final Four winner side. We got Joey Fox beating Liz Taylor 2-0, and Clay Davis beating David Anderson 2-1. Let's start with Brandon this time. Brandon, what's your thoughts on both of the Final Four winner matchups?
Joey was not losing that match.
Not going to lose to Liz 2 times in a row?
Nope.
No? All right.
I have never, when I was outside talking to him a little bit, he was, in a respectful manner, say that it was not going to happen 2 times in a row. He had one mission. I think he would have been okay losing the matches after that, which he did actually.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Enough.
Yeah.
No, he was on a mission to beat that woman.
Yeah.
I think he felt like he had something to prove.
Yeah.
He played some great pool.
He even said it again when he was inside. When he was standing right next to me as I'm like sitting on the sheet, he was like, "Hey, I ain't losing to her again."
Yeah, he was pretty upset. He gets upset losing on the stream table. I don't care who it's against, but yeah. So yeah, Joey was winning that match regardless. Pat, what do you think about the 2 winners matchups, man?
Same. I was really, really hoping that Liz would do it twice. Not because I dislike Joey in any way, but I really wanted her to beat him again, because I feel like that right there, the legend would have grown even 10 times greater than what it's already grown right now. She would have came in and beat Joey Fox twice late in the tournament. But it was still fun to know that a player had a grudge because of a previous tournament results, and then kind of see him take that personal. And then the Clay Davis versus the Machine match. Honestly, so far we have probably talked about 1, 2, 3, 4, like 3, 4, 5 finals matches already.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And the Clay Davis and David Anderson was another one. This was probably one of the most exciting matches of the night, if not, probably the final was. But this one went back and forth too. You know, this one went back and forth up until the third set.
Yeah, I think this is in contention for best matchup of the day. I feel like
It was really good.
for sure. Well, then that leads us to our hot seat match. Clay Davis beating Joey Fox 2-0. I mean, the grasshopper beats the master, I guess, so to speak. I was kind of surprised it was 2-0, but kind of surprised not. I don't know where to think that match could have gone. I think it was Clay was going to win it, I feel like, but I really didn't know what to expect. I mean, those two guys are, I'm pretty sure they are actual brothers. So there's that. Pat, what do you think about Clay beating Joey for the hot seat?
I enjoyed it because once Clay did that, I don't think there was a doubt left in my mind that he was going to win the whole tournament. I can't say that I didn't expect Clay to win 2-0. I thought at the very least they might go to the hill. Like maybe they trade back and forth like some of the better matches that we saw as well. But to see him go 3-1, 3-1, I did not expect that at all. I don't think I could have called that, especially a hot seat Joey Fox. You know what I mean?
Yeah, never bet against him in the hot seat.
There you go. But a great match. And it ended pretty quickly too. I mean, relatively speaking, you think about how long the matches go later on in the tournament, especially better, top tier players. They were done in less than an hour.
Yeah, it was a very quick matchup. Brandon, what do you think about the hot seat match, man?
Joey put every ounce of everything he had into beating Liz. He came into the hot seat match with nothing. It was an absolute exhibition. It was a ball pocketing fiesta for Clay, just running out left and right. Joey, I think after he made one or two mistakes, kind of accepted his fate in this match and just prepared to play for third place.
Yeah.
I mean, because like I said, at no point was this match close. And it should never be that way with these two. Do I think Clay's a stronger player? Absolutely. But do I think Joey has every ability to beat him? Absolutely. It's like Justin said, you don't bet against Joey in a hot seat match. But he put every ounce of his being into beating Liz. That is how bad he wanted to beat her.
You could see his attitude change a little bit after he beat her.
It's like a sigh of relief, like, okay, I made it this far.
Yeah.
But now I'm going to bring nothing to the hot seat. But hey, it happens to all of us.
For sure, absolutely. Now brings us to the David Anderson show pretty much after this. So then you had a Final Four on the loser side matchup. David beating Ronaldo 2-0 this time instead of 2-1. I think this is when David kind of was showing the best that he could play right here in this match. This match and the next match, I think, were probably his two best matches. Yeah, at this point, David was like, okay, I made it this far. I'm just going to go ahead and win the tournament. Brandon, what did you think about David versus Ronaldo the second time around?
I don't think I've seen a player have as many breaking runs in one tournament as I saw David Anderson having.
He played on the stream table 5 times.
I was a little shocked at 2, but I was not shocked at him winning, not the way he was playing this day. I did think it would go 3 sets.
Oh, yeah.
Nope, not when David's focused and David's ready to play. He had a great day all around. I couldn't be happier for the guy.
And he was very upset with himself.
I think Ronaldo had such a long road. He might have been a little bit tired. Oh, yeah. He might have been he already lost to the guy once. You can bring negative emotion into that. And that may have been what happened there. Because like I said, I normally would never think that'd be a sweep.
No.
On either side of that. I mean, I'm talking about, let's say Ronaldo beat David. I wouldn't expect that to be a sweep either.
Right.
I would absolutely expect that to be 3. It should be 3 sets every time they play.
Agreed.
But David brought the game. I think Ronaldo tired out and just accepted his fate and catapulted David into his next match.
Yeah. Pat, what's your thoughts on David and Ronaldo, in the Final Four matchup?
I think one thing that me and Rico were talking about during this match is what David doesn't want to do is allow Ronaldo a chance to get back in it. Kind of like what happened in their first match. The first set was the exact same thing as the first match that they played. David Anderson went up 3-1, and then he gets another couple of quick ones. He did not want to give Ronaldo a chance, and he did not. This was what I would say this match in particular was his top form. I don't think he played a better match all night, including the championship match against Clay Davis. This right here was his Sistine Chapel, so to speak, of the evening.
Agreed. I 100% agree with that. But we do get the semifinal matchup. David Anderson 2-1 over Joey Fox. Again, I think David plays really well. I think this matchup, I think it maybe was a toss up at this point in the night because both players are probably tired. But David pulling out the 2-1 win, man. I think maybe David just wanted it a little bit more at this point. I don't know. But Pat, what do you think about the semifinal matchup, man?
You took the words right out of my mouth because that once we started the semifinals, it was already pretty late. It was already
Yeah.
floating around like that 2 o'clock kind of time frame.
Yeah, it was about 2 o'clock, I think, when they started. Yeah.
There you go. And then you think about how long these matches have been throughout the day because they have been going to the hill. And then we're seeing a lot of these top dogs fighting each other early on. Some lesser players, putting these top dogs into the loser side. So there was a lot of how would you say heavy lifting that was being done all night.
Yeah.
So I think Joey just hit the wall before David did.
Yeah, I agree. I agree completely with that. I think it would have been cool to see them play a lot earlier in the night. I still think David would have pulled it out, but I think they both could have played better. I think David still played this matchup pretty close to his best. Wasn't quite as good as he played against Ronald, but yeah, Joey just hit a stronger wall than David did. Brandon, what do you think about this matchup, man?
Nailed that last point, but I'm also going to go back to the point where you said David wanted that more.
Yeah.
He broke and ran both of his racks in the final set. I mean, he knew, he came out just firing and knew what he had to do and was going to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think Joey did run into that proverbial wall.
Oh yeah, big time.
I think a lot of the liquid encouragement
Yeah, I was gonna say
catch up with it.
the
where,
vodka wall.
where Mr. Anderson, just like the Matrix, he's Mr. Anderson drinking bottled water and Diet Pepsi, playing smart or whatever he drinks. It wasn't alcohol. I know that.
Water. I think
Right.
Yeah, water. You know,
I mean, David Anderson, he was
makes a difference at 2:30 in the morning when you're trying to get in the money.
I think he's like Tim Tebow, man. I don't think soda goes into that body.
Whoa,
how many people
explains a lot.
how many people do you think would be in that third set with Joey Fox down to nothing and give up and not play as hard, not treat that next rack like they can win it?
Yeah, a lot.
So when you talk about David Anderson wanting it more, I agree 100%. That's a very, very big point. Being down 2-0 against Joey Fox and it's your break, you have to win this rack. And then, like you said, break and running, your 2 break and runs are happening in the third set as well. So honing in and focusing, man, picking it up when it matters the most. That speaks volumes to his game, man. That's big time.
Absolutely. We try to tell you how great he is. And then he makes the finals. David Anderson and Clay Davis in the finals. Finals is a little bit longer. Races to 4, 2 out of 3 sets. Clay pulls it out 2-1. Naturally, he goes to the third set. To me, this was a weird match. I felt like both players got some lucky rolls and got some unlucky rolls. It was very weird to watch. I don't think either player played their best, honestly. But I also feel like a lot of that just had to do with the rolls. And maybe they were just a little tired also and just let the cue ball get away a little bit. But, I mean, I guess, Pat, what did you think about the finals? You were on the commentary booth for this one. So what did you think?
Bittersweet for me, man. I was ready to go home.
Of course.
Bro, I was so sleepy, dog. And shout out to Nate Frank. Nate Frank, if you're watching this right now, it's your fault. Okay? It's your fault. He called hill last set because we kept talking about how sleepy we were. But I mean, honestly, should it have gone any other way?
No.
You know what I mean? Who cares about how long we were there? That's what you're supposed to have happen in the finals with the 2 best players. Hill.
Yeah.
The only thing we were missing was whoever broke and ran. That's the only thing we needed,
Agreed.
But as good of a quality of a match that it was, I still think it was like the second best match of the night. But no, shout out to Clay Davis, man. You finally did it, bro. Got that trophy and that money. Great job. Congratulations to you.
Heck yeah. Brandon, what did you think about the finals, buddy?
Well,
you were at home watching.
I watched every minute of it. I'll tell you, great finals. They both played their hearts out. I do think the better player won, but barely. Clay, you had me, you had my stomach in my throat with the final pocket of that 9-ball. I thought he was drifting that thing in the pocket, the cue ball, but he was about this far off the pocket. I was like, oh God. Because I was sitting there thinking, like, did the tournament really just come down to that? But he Now it's funny because he acted completely confident after he stroked it. He got up like, "Oh, no big deal. I'm watching the cue ball light." But no, it landed. But what a great day! What a great tournament! It ended the way, like both of you said, the way it should have ended. A great hill match, tons of drama. I wasn't sure who was going to win that until Clay shot that final 9.
Yeah.
And
I think it was the perfect way to end this
Yeah.
tournament. I also think it was a perfect way to end the year 2023, which was the pool series first year.
what a great year!
Yeah, I think it was a great end. Let me just thank the sponsors for this tournament one more time. Red's Debris Removal and Hauling, Tim's Cues, John Patera, Remax Metro Realty, Inkwell Design, Pool Doctors, Portico Licensed General Contractors, Paul Harrison Custom Cues, Alpha Installations. We appreciate you guys. Is there anything else that we need to mention about this tournament? Pat, are we done with talking about the Rackham tournament?
Yes.
Yes, he said yes. Brandon, anything else you want to mention about
Last
the tournament?
thoughts. The best, most consistent table match play in all the pool series.
Yeah.
This tournament. Every match was great.
Yeah, like this was
Even
my
my debacle in the second round was great.
Yeah, I think this was the most fun tournament. I think this was possibly our top 4, and I think it's a great way to head into 2024. We're gonna have a lot more tournaments this year. Haven't quite scheduled the next one yet. It's got a lot of stuff going on in around the area right now, so it'll be a minute. But a lot of good surprises coming up this year. Y'all make sure you stay tuned to our Facebook page, and also stay tuned to our YouTube page. Stay tuned to it all. We're gonna have a bunch of stuff. Pat's got some awesome stuff coming up this year. Brandon got some awesome stuff coming up this year. God, it's gonna be a fun year, man. I'm really looking forward to 2024 and doing a lot more tournaments, man.
Can't wait. Well, do you have a general idea on the first one? A month.
It's probably February or March. We'll be putting it out later this week, though.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, and we might be turning it into like a points tour as well. So
I'm so sick of not talking about this every time we do
Yeah.
one of these podcasts.
No,
I
no,
want
no,
to
we're
talk
gonna-
about
we're
it.
gonna- Yeah, we can talk about it once we actually post it. Yeah. Yeah, guys, I guess this has been fun, man. This has been a great show. I think every show is great with you guys.
Great year.
TPS
You
reports.
too, brother.
TPS
Both of you.
reports is really getting some fans. We got dozens and dozens now.
We're gonna get hundreds and hundreds here soon. And you tell all your friends for the bet. We talk about it better than anybody. Come on and watch. Give it a like. Give it a subscription. Come on, everybody.
Absolutely.
Let's go.
So Pat Dixon, I appreciate you, dog. Brandon Mullis, appreciate you as well. Justin Clark, he's pretty cool. I think we'll check you later, guys.
Until the next time, everybody.